The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 comes with plenty of useful features packed inside the phone's UI, but a lot of them aren't so obvious, and I bet there's a lot that you didn't actually know about. So today I'm going to be showing you the best ones to get the most out of your phone, so hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. So first up, we've got something that many Z Fold 6 users will want to do straight away, and for those of you that aren't using the auto brightness feature, you won't be able to get the maximum brightness out of your phone straight away. But if you're heading to settings, we then choose display, and you can see in here we've got a toggle for extra brightness, and it's going to allow the phone to go much brighter, but it will of course use a bit more battery. And for those of you using adaptive brightness, you don't need to worry about this as you've already got max brightness enabled. Next up, you can actually make your phone operate a lot faster, or at least appear to operate a lot faster, and it's something that I do with all of my Android phones. If you take a look at how the new windows are opening and changing here, it's smooth and it's great, but personally I like it to be just a little bit faster like this, as it just feels more comfortable and quicker to use. Now to enable this, all we have to do is swipe down from the top and then go into settings. You'll then need to choose developer options at the very bottom, but if you've never done this before, then you won't actually have this developer options. So to enable it, all you've got to do is go in to your about phone in settings. You can select software information, and then where it says build number, you just keep tapping this until it says that you're now a developer, and I believe it's 8 times that you have to press it. Once you've done that, you can tap back twice and then just head to developer options at the bottom. Now if we scroll down in here, you can see Windows animation scale, transition animation scale, and animation duration scale. They're all set to 1x by default, and all you've got to do is change it to 0.5x to double the speed of everything. Now you can also turn off the animation completely, so every window is just going to load instantly, but personally I find this actually makes it feel a little bit clunky without having any animations in there at all, so I wouldn't recommend that. Now next up, we've got a way to protect your battery, and while it's not needed, it's something that I recommend as it is going to help your battery and increase its lifespan. If you go into settings again and then into battery, we've got something called battery protection, and what this does is it actually stops your charger keeping the phone at 100% battery when it's charging, as this is going to reduce its life over time. If you've got your phone charging during the day or while you're sleeping, keeping it at 100% while charging isn't the most healthy thing for the battery, and it's just completely unnecessary. And in here we've got 3 levels of protection to counteract it. So basic is going to stop charging at 100%, it won't charge again until it reaches at 95%, maximum, which is going to stop charging at 80% battery, and then we've got adaptive. Now maximum is a bit extreme as no one wants to wake up with just 80% battery, but adaptive is the one I would recommend as it's the best of both worlds. Now using adaptive, it means that while you're sleeping, it won't charge above 80% to protect the battery, but it will then charge to 100% just before you wake up, and it's going to know the wake up time based on your phone's usage, so just be careful if you are going to wake up earlier than usual. And of course, if you're always waking up at different times for something like shift work, then I would recommend using basic instead. Now next up, we've got customization of the display itself, and while most people I guess are going to be happy with the way everything looks by default, personally I just want to fit as much on the screen as possible. Now if we go into settings and then display, you can first reduce the font size to be able to fit more on the screen at once, or if you've got trouble seeing what's on the screen, you can also make it bigger. You can also change the font, but I actually like the default style. If we go back, we can also change the screen zoom, but this setting is only for the larger folding display and it won't affect the cover display, but by default it's actually on the larger setting for multi-view, so you can make it much smaller. And if you use the standard view instead of the multi-view, it's actually already on the lowest setting, but if you want to, you can make it larger. Next up, we've got a cool feature for your wallpapers that isn't so obvious, and it's hidden within the phone settings. So if we go into settings and scroll down to advanced features, there's a lot you can customize in here, but you'll see we've got a setting for labs. If we go in here, you're going to see something called multi-window for all apps, and if you enable this, it's going to give you true multitasking capabilities, as it's now going to allow all apps to open in the pop-up view or the split screen view, even if they haven't been designed for these layouts. Now another feature I like in this is the video brightness, and you can set bright mode, which is going to temporarily increase the brightness when you're watching videos, and this is just going to make sure your media is always brighter and more vibrant, and you can also customize which apps this works for. Now another great customization feature is the photo ambient wallpaper. Now personally, I really like this and it just makes things a lot more dynamic. and it's actually going to change your wallpaper based on the time or the weather. Now if you head into settings, wallpaper and style, change wallpaper, and then scroll down to create with AI, you're going to find photo ambient. You can then select a photo from your phone, and there's even a preview option that's going to show you an example, and it's going to add things like rain and snow to your wallpapers. And at the moment, you can only choose these wallpapers for the lock screen though, and it won't change it for the phone's actual wallpaper. Now next up, we've got custom photo cards for your contacts, and if you head over to your contact list, you can go ahead and press edit over at the bottom right. If you then choose create profile card at the top right, there's loads of customizations that we can add, including an AI image of them. So if we press on that, you can see we've got all of the colors, so you could just select a color and type their name. So if we head back and select a photo of them, although I'm going to choose a photo of me, we can now customize this with a photo, and if we want something a little bit different, then we can press the Portrait Studio AI feature to generate different AI versions of them, and as you can see, we've got quite a few options here to choose from. Now next up, we've got another feature that isn't so obvious, and the Z Fold 6 has plenty of RAM to keep your apps running in the background, but sometimes it may close things that you didn't want it to, which can be frustrating, especially if you're doing something like editing a video and you didn't want it to be closed. Now if we swipe up to view all of the open applications, you can actually specifically select one by pressing the icon at the top, and you can then choose Keep Open. Now once you've done this, no matter what you do with your device now, it's going to keep this running in the background, and you can see it's enabled by the padlock icon in the bottom right. Now this can also be very useful if you've just got loads of apps open on your phone and you want to close all of them except one or two. If that's the case, you can just lock the ones that you don't want to close. You can then press close all, and as you can see, it closes everything apart from the ones I've selected. Now to unlock them again, all you've got to do is single press on the padlock and you can now close them again. Now next up, we've got the ability to change the size of the keyboard, and I find this very useful. And with the keyboard open, if you press the gear icon, we go into settings, and there's actually a lot of customizations in here as well that I recommend you have a read through and really customize the keyboard to your own liking. But one thing you may not have been aware of is the ability to change its size. So if we select size and transparency, you can make it bigger or smaller, and even move its location if you prefer it higher up on the display, although personally I do actually prefer to use Gboard. Now we've also got a text extractor hidden away in the keyboard as well. When you're sending a message or typing anything on the device, you can quickly use text from the real world. When you've got the keyboard open, you can press the three dots at the top right and then choose extract text. It opens up the camera and adds a selection box around the text. If you press the paste button, it's just going to dump the whole text in at once, but you can also select the text icon at the bottom right. It's then going to take a picture, and you can choose the exact pieces of text that you want to use. Now finally, we've got another keyboard feature that's hidden away, and it's the selection tool for when you want to select an exact bit of text and you're having trouble doing it with your fingers or the S Pen. Again, if we press the three dots in the top right of the keyboard, it gives us more options, and we can then press the plus and we can add even more. If you press and hold on the text editing, it's going to let you drag it into your keyboard shortcuts, and now when I press the three dots, you can see it and select it. With this in use, we can use the arrows to accurately select text. We can then highlight text, cut, copy or paste, and this is something that you're not going to need all of the time, but it's very useful when you do need it. So that's it for today's extra features to enable on the Z Fold 6, and hopefully I've shown you at least one thing that you didn't know already. So make sure you hit subscribe now so you don't miss a thing in the future.